Hello and welcome to this Business Central video. I'm Gavin and this is part 3 of a series on the topic of dimensions. So in part 1 we was introduced to dimensions and looked at what they are and why we use them. In part 2 we took it a little bit further and looked at some of the other features like setting them as mandatory and looking at dimension combinations. So in this part now, we're going to look at creating a brand new dimension and how to do that properly and the consequences of not doing that properly. We're going to have a look at the difference between global and shortcut dimensions. And we're also going to look at the tools that we can use to analyze the data, because there's tools within Business Central to be able to analyze by dimension. So if I pop into Business Central and we go straight into our demo company, IT Solutions Limited, supplier of products and services. So in the first video, we saw the product and the services dimensions. So IT Solutions Limited, the demo company, was analysing by the different products they did, Business Central, Dynamics GP, and so on, and then their services like consultancy and development. In the second video, we introduced region because they wanted to start analysing their sales by region. And now we've created another brand new dimension called business division. And the values for this dimension are hardware and professional services, because we're going to start selling hardware and we want a new dimension to try and capture this. And this is the absolute beauty of dimensions. I don't have to touch my chart of accounts. I don't have to create any new chart of accounts or anything. I just create a new dimension and then it's ready to start analyzing. Likewise, if I want to create a new product, I just add a new dimension value and I can start analyzing to the new product. So I've created the new dimension. Sorry if I just pop back in there. I didn't mean to close that down. Called business division. So is that job done? Can I start using that dimension now? So let's have a look. So if I go into a sales invoice, and here's an invoice. So here's a sales invoice for Global Electronics. And for Global Electronics, we're going to sell them some computers. So it's some hardware. We're using exactly the same sales code. And if I scroll over now, because I want to start analyzing by this new business division, we can see the code isn't available. I can see product code, services, and region code. Now I've created business division, so why is it not there? Now I can still analyze to it. If I click line and then go related information and dimensions, I can still select it. So it's definitely available. But why is it not available as a shortcut on this line here to select? Now, the reason for that is because I missed a step, which is a common thing to do when creating new dimensions. What you have to do is you have to go into General Ledger Setup and you have to create the dimension and then specify it in here if you want to be able to use it on the line, that is. So I do. So if I go to, and I'm going to specify business division here, and if I come out of here now and the system refreshes, and now it's there. So now if I bob back into the sales invoice, Global Electronics, if I scroll down, and we can see if I scroll across that it's now available. It's now a shortcut, and that's the key word to use here. I've got 4 dimensions that are shortcut, because if I go back into General Ledger Setup, I can create any number of dimensions, but I can only set 8 shortcut dimensions. So that's why it's not a good idea to go above 8 dimensions, because now it becomes a bit of a pain to be able to use them on transactions. As you saw earlier, I had to click line, related information, dimensions to be able to select it. Now I don't want my users having to do that every time. So the first thing to do is you create the dimension and then you specify in here. Now the next question that's staring us in the face in here is, what are global dimensions? Because they're our first 2 shortcut dimensions. Now global dimensions are special dimensions. So what makes them special? They are, firstly, they're on every single entries table in Business Central. So in general ledger entries, they're actually stored physically on the table. So whenever I post a transaction and specify a product or a service and it goes through to general ledger entries, customer ledger entries, vendor ledger entries, they're actually physically stored on the table. So if I want to use an external reporting tool, I don't have to do anything clever to try and get access to products and services. It's just there on the table. if I wanted to try and get the region and the business division, I have to start linking things. It does appear at first sight that they are actually on the table, because if I go into general ledger entries, we can see here that we've got product and services. And if I scroll over, we've got business division and region. So you think, yeah, but they are on the table, but they're not. They are being linked in via something called a dimension set ID, which is a subject probably for another video. So these are stored on the table. What other benefits do they give us? Because they give us absolutely great functionality as well, the global dimensions, when it comes to analyzing our data within Business Central, on Business Central reports, on Business Central lists, and things like that. So as an example of that, if I go to the chart of accounts page, this is a list of all the chart of accounts, and these are all our totals because I haven't filtered it. If I click filter, I can filter the list like I can any other. I could use this filter to filter out, say, balance sheet codes, but the absolutely brilliant functionality is to filter totals by, because these totals, which are flow fields, adhere to the rules that I put in here. And I can select my global dimensions of product and services on here. I can't select region, and I can't select business division, and I can't select any other shortcut dimension, only my globals, which is why they should be used. Because now I can click in here, and as an end user, I can just type in business BC and get a full list of the totals just posted here. So I'm getting like a mini income statement straight with no effort, based on, I can see I've sold 5,000, I've got some costs here, and here's my profit. Likewise, if I was running an accounts payable report, aged accounts payable, and this goes for most of the reports, I can filter totals by, and there's my global dimensions available again. So it's very important to select the right global dimensions. Now, if you select the wrong one, it's not the end of the world. You can always go into General Ledger Setup and change global dimensions. So I could change that if I wanted to region, which I'm not going to, because product and services are the right dimensions for this company. They're also available as filters in things like financial reports. So if you don't want to use another financial reporting tool, Power BI or anything like that, to analyze your data, if you use the financial reports, you can create a P&L like I've got here. And if I take that filter out, so this is a mini P&L, and if I click that so you can see the totals, hopefully, you can see that these are the full totals here. But I can also filter by product again, type BC in there, or click the little three dots, select Business Central, and now I've got an income statement showing my profit just for this. So that's the beauty of global dimensions, and that's why everyone always says make sure they're your most important dimensions. So that kind of concludes the series of videos on dimensions. I think I've covered everything. If there's anything I've missed off, or you want any more information, you can always contact me at www.thedynamicsexplorer.com. I hope you find it useful, and if you've made it to the end of the 3, then I hope you find it enjoyable. I certainly have, and I look forward to making some more videos on some other topics. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.